Good morning. It's Carol Martine back in my studio for another round in my new big pierced folded journal. I've picked this double spread and these lilies because I just thought they were so delightful. And then I noticed that I also had this vase with some lilies and some roses and a little bit of purple, and I just took the time to sit back and relax and cut this all out. Excuse me, allergies. And I cut this puppy all out, and this one was a character builder, but I thought it was so worthwhile. I've kind of laid this out in the going forth plan. I've added a sketch of the rest of this stem and a few leaves that kind of match these right here, and I've put a few register marks up on here to mark out where excuse me, where the flowers will be collaged down after I remove them. And I'm going to put some watercolor down here to give this background a little start. I also have taken a picture of it so that I can keep this here to remind myself when I have removed these pieces where the colors for the background might be placed. And here we have the few marks showing where things can be lined up, but of course that's changeable. That's why erasers were invented, and artists can change their minds. I've prepared my Schmincke watercolors because I feel like they have a nice selection of colors that might do well. I have my water, I have my Viva towel, I've sprayed the pans and gotten them ready, and I have my absolute super juiciest brush ready to go. And now, before I start anything, I'm going to give this a kind of a starter with some sprayed water. There. I think that's enough, or at least I'll declare it enough. Let me get some of the water off my table so I can put my tablet down. Okay. So let's see what we can do to get some color added to this page. And I see that this needs to go under here. Yes, it does. Okay, because this one has the washi tape on the side. Okay, here we go. I want to put down, I believe, from looking at my swatches, I'm going to start out with this one. And I'm just going to lay it around and spread it out as much as I can. And with this wonderful wet brush, and I have another one that does a nice job also, so I might be employing that at any moment here. That's not too bad. I always find that if I have some sort of color on my paper, it motivates me, or it moves me forward when I least expect it, and gives me a nice start. Let's see if I can't use this one. Maybe under here. Oh yes, see? The colors in the pans don't always turn out to look exactly like even the swatches, but this one's moving along. We need a little bit more up here. Oh, nice. I picked up a little green by mistake, and doesn't that help things nicely? Try to do that again. I bet I couldn't if I tried. All right. And you'll notice, since I've pre-wet the paper, I can move some hard lines when I want to. Now I'm neglecting this side, which is a big empty space, and I think I'm just going to be very careful and light on this side, since I don't know what's going to happen up there. I haven't the slightest idea. Whoops. I think I'm going to get the other half of this juicy brush saga going. This is a Princeton Art and Brush, number 1/2 inch, and it's a stroke brush. And yes, it does move things along very, very nicely. That's a little bit yellow, more yellow than I wanted, so let's see if we can't help that along. Go back to this one. I haven't worried about too much up here because a lot of the collage will be there. Nope. I'm going to stick over here with this one, add a little bit more of this color. Add a little bit more up here. This is supposed to be the flesh tint in this box of Schminkies, and they're supposed to be used for flesh, and I not want to use it for that because I kind of like to mix my own flesh colors. Going to pick a rather pale green. I'm kind of tossed between these two colors, so when in doubt, I'm just going to use both of them a little bit and see what happens over here. Oh yes. Oh yes. I'm liking that puppy. Here's the line on which the pot sits, so it just gives me an idea of where I will be going. Over here. I think some more of that would do nicely in here. As you can see, this brush moves quite a lot of water, but this color is just wonderful. It's the 533 in the Schmincke box, and it sits back nicely. When water is added to it, it steps right out of the way. Now, let me put some of this over here. My goodness, this is such a large double spread that I feel like I'm painting a wall. All right, here's a little bit of color laid down now. And let me see what we have there. Ah, yes. So you'll have an idea of why I do this. Okay, troops, let's get up here. Here we go. And over here. And there we are with a vague background to play up these colors but not overwhelm them. It's going to take a while now for this to dry, and I'm going to probably give it a little help, but I know that you don't need to watch me dry this. And then I'm going to talk about what might be the next step, even still before collage. I'll be back when this is dry. Everything is nice and dry again, so I went and got out my oblong stencils. I love oblong stencils. There aren't many of them out there, and I've had them for a while, and I seem to continue to come back to them. In fact, the back piercing in this journal was done using this stencil. So I thought I might try using it here to kind of carry the thought through the pages of the journal. So I thought I'd try a row of this one here, my bows over here, and this damask piece here. I've gotten out colors that I thought would work well with the lilies, and this is Ceramcoat OJ, Ceramcoat's Old Parchment, one of my very favorites, and Ceramcoat Apple Green, and some white, because I want to try to mingle them and change the colors as they work down the page, or at least that's what I think I'm going to be trying to do. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to start up here with some of this OJ. And I'm not going to make it strong. I'm going to try to keep it very, very light. Just a hint. Sometimes it's kind of hard to get the sponges started. Let's see what we can do here. Not enough. Okay. Not enough. A little too hinted. Let's make it shout just a little more than that. Yes, yes, yes. All right, now we're going to come down a little bit into the next one. Add just a little bit of white to calm it down a little bit between the two. Let's see, let's sneak a peek. Yes. A little more white maybe. And now I try my old parchment. Not only do I like old parchment, but it likes me. It seems to cooperate nicely. Now, some of this is matching the watercolor, Schmincke watercolors underneath, but that's all good. As I said, my goal is really not to have these colors shouting. Let's see how we're doing. Yes, I think we might be fading just a little bit more than I wanted to. Let's come down a little bit further here. Some old parchment. Now a little bit of white. I don't know why I seem to have an urge to tap some of that darker one on here too. So let's do it. Let's see where we are now. Right. I think I will have another tap of the OJ. Then go back to old parchment and so forth. A little bit of white. And now I'm going to lift this so that I can get working on the green. Yes. And a little bit of green. Whoops. Let's not have a whoops at this point. Okay. Good. I think I've suggested all of the colors in the collage. Let's move on now. I'm going to work on my very favorite bows next, and I'm going to work the same way. And I know that you don't need to watch me do the same process all over again, so I will get back with you when I'm over on the last one. Well, I'm back on my last oblong and working away at the third color for the bottom, the green. I'm putting the green down here because of the strong stems that we're going to have. On the flower collage. Alrighty, now I think I need to pick this up and check. It's a whoopsie right in there. See if I can't get it out. Yes, just. All right, now, if you put the acrylic on lightly enough and the sponge is dry enough and you really dry brush and pound it on there, you find that it dries quite quickly. So moving this around is not the major problem that it could be. Always, always when stenciling, if you want a nice, take advantage of your stencil lines, work back to less is more. You might have to come back and relook at an area, but it's worth doing. Oops, good, Carol. Let's see what we did down here now. Did we completely? No. Almost. Wasn't paying attention the way I should have been. There we go. Now, let's hold this, Carol, and let's not mess it up at this point. Green. Okay. Done. Now I'm definitely going to let this air dry and come back to the collage. I'll be back. Well, here I am back, attaching my collage and finding out just how difficult it is to really attach such big pieces. But I think I'm working for the end, and thank heavens that erasers work through watercolor. I allowed a little overlapping here, but we'll hope it works out. And now this tiny piece, going from the sublime to the ridiculous after all of these big and tricky bits. I'm left with this little guy. Right, now, I'm afraid that I'm going to have to stop again because I want this, this fold on this big spread to work. Give an opportunity to dry in that position. And I see one bit here that I need to cure with some of my adhesive tech. Does work very nicely in situations like this. There it goes. Alrighty, I'll be back when this has had a chance to work through the trauma. This was difficult, but it's not precise, it's not exact, but that will just have to be the best I can do. Let's see if I can take out some of these lines, and then I'll get back with you after I've waited a few minutes for this fold to do what it needs to do. See, the pencil marks are erasing very nicely under that watercolor. Alrighty. Today I'm going to go back to my tried and true Derwent Inktense pencils, and I'm going to be using Leaf Green number 1600 and Field Green number 1500 and anything else that's necessary, because I want to add that stem. So, since I had good luck with that the last time I used it in this situation, I'm a firm believer in don't fix it if it isn't broken. So I have a little bit of gesso, my water, a Princeton Select Filbert number 6. I'm a great user of filberts. Alrighty, let's go and see what we can do about putting some color down here. If you'll notice, I'm pressing rather heavily because I have a long area to work with. And changing colors is what makes these little cheats work, I have found. Let's see what we have now. Putting some water on my brush, dabbing most of it away, getting some gesso, and using that to turn this into a pigment. The gesso, when it dries, will I believe this will make this permanent, which is really quite wonderful because you can do anything you want on top of this after you've gotten it painted. I can see that I'm going to have to use some darker colors on here. But that's the fun of it, is finding your way. Sometimes it's easy to get what you want, and sometimes you have to work at it a little bit, and it looks like this is going to be a worker. Right, I'm going to need some more dark, I know that, but while I'm waiting for this to dry, I'm going to lay in some colors here. Okay. That olive shade, one always expects it to be darker than it wants to be. So we have a little of my other greens now. Thinking I'm going to have to add some brown to darken this up enough to make it work. Let's see if that's really true. Well, looks like these leaves are just in their ugly stage. It'll be fun seeing if I can find my way out of this, but yes, the darkness right here is closer to that. Good. There is hope. And the nice thing about Derwent is after this, if I were to let all of this dry completely, I'd just go right over it because it's permanent. Just go right over it and hit the greens again. And there we would be with a whole new process. It would be possible to just use water to do this, but using the gesso just adds a look that I like very much. All right. Now, as I hope you are able to see, get a close-up going here. They are not dark enough. So, I'm thinking a little gray, a little brown, a little black. Let's see what I have. What can I use to solve this problem? All right, I'm going to go with bark. It's a brownish shade. Charcoal gray. Willow. Yes, I think. Okay, I think we're going to have to work over this again a little bit here now. I'm on the right track yet. Might not be quite dark enough. We'll see. And some more of the olive. On the light side. Fingers crossed. When all else fails, I can always cheat a little bit, can't I? Well, it's closer. Maybe a little more of this light, actually. Let's see what happens. I'm having an art adventure here. All right, I'm going to use just water over that green. Oh, yes, yes. Water instead of water and gesso helped the green out. Yes, it did. I'm going to let that dry and I'm going to come back. So, I'm going to take this one step at a time. And I'm going to stop for a moment because I'm going to begin to allergy cough. I'll be right back. Well, I'm back with some decaffeinated green tea and a Ricola sugarless lemon drop. If those two things, plus the girl on my lap, named Abby, who decided that she needed love, which she usually doesn't talk to me like that when I'm working. If those two things don't cure it, I guess I'll just have to let the devil take the hindmost. But I have learned that even though mixing water and gesso works a treat for this situation, I found that when I'm in a pickle like this with trying to get things to be darker and to blend in better, that sometimes just water on the brush with the Inktense, it doesn't gray it down quite as much, which of course makes sense because gesso is a thick clay-like white acrylic, that I've gotten a better result, particularly right down here, if you will notice. And, okay, you sit still now. Alrighty. And here, I can get some nice marks in the leaf because the collage piece does have some darker marks, and I'm happy to manage to get them in here and there. In fact, I'm actually taking off some dark from here and adding it up on the collage piece, because why not? Maybe. And I'm thinking that I am liable to just about stop with these, because I don't really want to fix what isn't broken right now. Oops, let me get some color in here. I need to make this step over from the stem into the leaf. Let's see if I can do that. Okay, better. Now, I think today, the only thing that I'm going to think about before I stop, because I've decided with this folded journal that I'm going to work on bits of it and let it rest and then come back. Because I'm starting to think of things that I can do up here, but I think before I stop, I want to get a bit of a shadow under here. And I believe I might use some of the color, that brownish color that's in the clay pot, and some of the gray that I already have out. Let's see what happens. Maybe even just a touch of the green too. Let's see, maybe that green. We'll use the baked earth, the leaf green, the one I call olive green, a little charcoal gray, and I'll keep bark at hand. Let's see what happens now. But here I will definitely use, be using the gesso water combination. Charcoal gray, let's see. And a little of this mixed in. I won't know where this is going until I get to it. It's definitely a touch of this because I see this in here. Let's have some. Why not? You and I are going to have to talk about this, Abby. This is a new thing. And you're a little old to be starting new things. Righty. I think maybe a bigger brush, maybe a number 10, filbert. This is either going to be very bad or not. I need to get a little closer, Abby. Yes, I know. The world revolves around you. Gotcha. All right, this is beginning to tell me that I need to stop and leave well enough alone and let it percolate. Think about it a little bit. Well, so today I myself have learned that don't bite off more craziness than I can chew. Another thing would be that using gesso definitely does not allow the depth of pigment that you might want to show up. And so just the plain water to spread the ink tints. Now, when this is completely dry, this part is an immovable object. It dries and it's permanent. You can do more to the top of it or whatever you want, or you can go over it, but it is not going to move at all. I'm going to think more about this shadow, but it's a beginning. If you have enjoyed watching this process, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, share with a friend, and I would certainly appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. Bye now, from myself and Miss Abby. I'll be seeing you soon.